Today here at Blue Water Marine, we've got a 2019 Yamaha. The customer brought it to us, wanted service. We're going to do winterization and a oil change on it. We're currently warming it up. We've made this contraption ourselves, that way we can run it on a water hose. You turn it off. You never want the engine to backflush, so always turn it off before you shut it off. We will later in the video hook this oil pump. It sucks the oil out of the engine. We've got an attachment. You can order this piece of equipment off us at bluewatermarineky.com. We'll leave the link in the description. We are going to let this thing run a minute, get the engine oil, and we will be back shortly. This is a high output 1.8 engine. One thing to always remember is fuel stabilizes your fuel for the winter, keeps it from getting stale. That way you're ready to go in the spring. It is, for every ounce, 2.5 gallons. So if you got half a tank, this jet ski here has a 15-gallon tank, so it's about half full. So it'll be roughly, let's see, 7 ounces, 8 ounces roughly, or 6, somewhere there. It's always good to put it in while it's running, that way it gets to the whole fuel system. So we made a shut off here, that way you can shut the water off before you shut the engine off. Just always remember to do that so it don't backflush the engine. Go ahead and shut it off. Let it run just a second. Water comes out, stop. Here we are with our oil pump. You can purchase this oil pump to us directly. Just contact us. We have it. What you do is run this line into the dipstick. This oil pump's actually made for, you can screw it on the end of the dipstick of any kind of inboard. Can you get this separate? So we've about sucked all the oil out of this one. We're about to shut it off. And now we've got to change this oil filter. It's in a lovely location. The best way to do it is lay you a bunch of rags down there. Try to be as careful as you can and clean up everything that you spill. I'm gonna have to get off the video on this one and we'll be back soon. So we've removed the old filter here. As you can see, got some rags. It wasn't too bad, not a whole lot spilled. The new filter here came with this tab. Of course, you got to remove the film off of it. I'll show you guys the part number here.
Yeah, and there are some filters interchanged, but they don't recommend the interchange for this particular 1.8.
So here's the Yamaha genuine oil filter number. There is some parts that will interchange, but they highly recommend sticking with the Yamaha. So we highly recommend that as well. So of course, before you put this new filter on, it does not come with any kind of lube on it, and you need to take some oil from your old filter off the top and go around it. On these, no need to use any kind of tooling to install it on. Get a good seal and go about half a turn farther than that, and then when you start it back up, make sure you've got no leaks or anything. You don't want this thing too tight because it will be a pain getting off. All right, I'm gonna have to get off the camera again to install this, and we'll be back. So as you can see, he's got all the oil out of it. I have installed the new filter, cleaned up all our oil spill, which wasn't bad. And now we are gonna fill this jet ski back up with the proper amount of oil. And I will refer to the service manual on how many quarts it needs. So as always, if you have a your jet ski's owner's manual, you will always find the specs. And on this one, on page 94, you can see fuel and oil. You can see recommended engine oil type SAE, 10W30, 10W40, 20W40, and 20W50. We have went with Yamaha 10W40 with this one. And you can see it is engine oil quantity with oil filter replacement at 3.81 US quarts. So you won't use this whole gallon. But as always, before you pour your oil in, of course, you're going to want to start the jet ski back up, because the oil filter will not fill up until you run it. Run it a few 30, 45 seconds to a minute and recheck it. And you can put you a funnel in this hole here, and that's where you will fill it up. So this is 5 quarts, so you'll have a little bit, about a quart, 1.2 quarts left. So I will return. I'm gonna fill this up with 3.8 quarts, and we will be right back. So I lied to you, that was 4 quarts. So there's gonna be just 0.2 quarts left in that. So not very much. We filled it up. Always put your oil fill cap back on before you start it, because you'll have oil blow everywhere. Put your dipstick in. And in this instant, we are about to put antifreeze in it. That'll keep any water that was in the exhaust system from getting in there and busting. So what we got here, we've made this bucket. We're gonna pour our antifreeze in. And when we get it full, this pump is hooked into this pump. We will turn the pump on. It'll back up here to our water intake. And when we're ready, we will turn this on and let it run until we start seeing, you'll see pink out your exhaust in the back. Of course, on Yamaha, your water output will be right there, and you want it to be pink. Well, our antifreeze is pink, so whatever you're using. We use the Marine RV safe antifreeze to do our job. So we're gonna let this run.
Need to blow them. What water's left out of it before you turn this on?
Yeah, like where we had it hooked up to the water hose earlier, you're gonna wanna let it run a second till you see no more water coming out your exhaust and your water output again. So once that happens, the way we got it hooked up, you can turn it on, and then your antifreeze will be injected in the engine, and that's what will be cooling it. And when you see the pink, like I said earlier, you'll be ready for the winter. And then once we do this, we'll, of course, we're actually going to back it back in the garage, because we're not on total level ground, and we'll recheck the oil. And like I said earlier, you're going to want to make sure that no oil's leaking around this filter, and that you've got it tight enough. But that should be it. We'll do this here and get back to you. So you may have to rev it a few times. There's a little water in the system here. We're good there. Set it off now.
You got the valve off, right?
The valve's off. He's going to hook this pump up. We've just used a general water pump that actually it's like an RV pump, or you use them in your houseboats. They're used many different places. Mainly RVs and stuff like that. Water system. There's many different ways to do this. This is just how we do it. dig on them. So we backed her back in the garage here, flat ground. You always want to make sure you check your oil on flat ground. Unfortunately, our workspace outside the garage is not flat, so we're going to take it in, and you can see, you can't really see in the video, but it is almost to that top one, which that anywhere in between there is good.
It will drain down.
The 2 dots. Yeah, and it will drain. We just literally shut it off. So, and make sure you put your dipstick back in. Make sure your oil cap cleaned up real good. And one thing I highly recommend on all jet skis and personal watercrafts, when you have a small battery like they do, to take them out and tender them over the winter, because if you don't, they are not made to last, and you will be buying a new battery. So to finish up this, we're going to take this battery out. The customer will take it with him and put it on a tender over the winter, and he'll be ready to go. This is Blue Water Marine KY, and you can visit us at bluewaterky.com. We're not totally set up just yet, but there is a place you can email us with questions, if you need parts, concerns, or any kind of questions. We're here to help you, and we appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace out.